My name is Ekin Ozlen, and my company's name is Keracell.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, you guys, oh, what a treat. Get ready to take notes and get your ATM, debit cards, all that good stuff ready, because I have Ekin Ozlen from Keracell, and she has a skincare line, but she just doesn't do skincare. You're going to see that her skin is flawless. But you're also going to hear her story on how she went from a model to music to marrying a surgeon, actually seeing surgery. And you guys know I love that because I've asked my wife many a times, can I scrub in? And she's told me that could never happen. But I want to hear how she did it. And, and that she also went over through grief because her husband is no longer. So born in Turkey and raised in Florida, and now joining us from LA. Ekin, how are you doing today?
I'm so good, Kellen. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for coming on. And I just gave like a glimpse of your story because really want people to see even beyond the beauty, because I know every day someone's saying, hey, you're beautiful, but there is a real story. I mean, it's really a movie, if not a series. So tell us, how did you get into the skincare at this level from becoming a model? Because that was never supposed to happen.
Yeah, I definitely took a left turn. I think throughout my career as a model in New York, I was kind of taking notes, and I was very lucky, and I'm very grateful to have been around kind of the OGs in the industry, all the experts, the best skincare people, the best dermatologists, the best plastic surgeons, the best hair artists, the best makeup artists. And I was just taking all that in. And before I knew it, I kind of had this really, really strong Rolodex of these people. After all the work that I was doing, I was in New York for almost 13 years working as a model with Ford Models. So that kind of just parlayed into me turning this full-fledged into my life and my whole career path, because as a model in the industry, it's kind of like you're only separated by your accessories. And what I mean by that is your skin and your hair. It's like, how much post work do the art directors have to do? And if they don't have to do much, you're going to get the job, because when they want a 5'8" brunette girl, there's 500 of us that show up. And then it's like, all right, who doesn't have acne, cellulite, and stretch marks? She's got it. So I kind of figured that out really quick. And I was at the same time, I was helping my husband build his practice, and he was a plastic surgeon on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. And he was very kind in letting me kind of shadow him and watch what he was doing with his skincare treatment protocols. I was helping him pick out microdermabrasion machines and bring in skincare lines. And I was having so much fun doing all that. So I just took all of that and kind of blended it into this brand.
Wow. And, when I heard, about your husband, and condolences always,
Thank you.
but how did you keep pushing? Because I mean, for somebody showing you things that most of us will never be able to see outside of YouTube, and you really being hands-on, how did you say, okay, I'm going to take this even to the next level? And just mentally, what are the steps? Because people right now with this COVID thing, people are dealing with loss in a major way, and
Absolutely.
They're not knowing how to handle it.
I think by that experience with my husband and losing him so early, I think it really taught me kind of to take everything that I have and to just use it in the now. Like, don't waste a moment thinking about doing something. Just go out there and start the process of actually doing it, because the hardest thing is to start doing it. And I know that sounds so cliche and people hear that all the time, but I think by losing him and seeing how hard he worked, I mean, he went to school for over 17 years to get this degree and to open this practice. And at the end of his life, we were going from 72nd between Lex and 3rd. And then all of a sudden we were building the practice on Fifth Avenue, and it was like everything that he had worked for in his life, he had put into that. And to see him not be able to see that through, it was kind of like a whoa moment for me, where there is no time like the present, and the time is now. So
Wow. And so, I mean, in helping him build that practice, because people, of course, will say, you know, many physicians, especially, well, male and female, they easily find somebody once their, you know, practice is built up and everything is good. But you were there in the grind. So I guess you already knew, you know, the bottling packaging and all that was the easy part for you then, if you had been through that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are things like, even as a model, people don't really realize how savvy you have to be to it's not just about being attractive. It's about having a business acumen. It's about dealing with agents and contracts and schedules and, you know, getting yourself the best rate. For a long time before I got with Ford, I was kind of just going with a bunch of different agents, and I was even dealing with clients myself, and I was having to negotiate my own rates. And, you know, so I think a lot of times people don't realize, really, as a model, you're still doing a lot of that in the beginning yourself. If you're not signed immediately by a big agency, and I wasn't, then you're grinding and you're hustling and you're doing it in a city, in a mecca like New York, where it's saturated, it's competitive, and you've got to be sharp and quick, and you've got to be on point. And I think that all of those tools that I learned from those experiences, I basically just dropped into building my own brand. And, you know, I didn't go to school for this. I have a psychology degree, so go figure. But I just kind of sandwiched it all together, and this is what came out.
Now, building the brand and finding the models, you have kind of an inside track and probably, you know, Rolodex full of people. But I want to ask you, you know, before talking about that process, has things changed with the Me Too movement and how models are, you know, found and acquired and appreciated? Because I don't personally, you know, doing this for decades, I don't think everybody's been called out who's taking advantage of people. And, you know, there's people who are still working to this day who have their stories, and we all have our stories, and we have to live with those. And, you know, whether they be regrets or things we wish we would have done or did not do. But do you think the industry has, you know, done a 180 from what it used to be?
I think it's in process. I think that that's not an overnight situation. I think there's a lot of that still going on, and I think it would surprise a lot of people to know the things. There's a lot of strange things that happen in this industry, and, you know, you just got to do your best to kind of stay in your lane and stay safe and keep your eye on the end game. That's really my best advice in regards to that whole thing.
Okay. Because entertainment, it's not a clean business. I always tell
No.
people want to get in it. You know, we might look good right now, but it's not a clean business behind the scenes or, you know, in front of the camera, being the talent. There's things that you'll either do or you won't do. You know, I tell my clients, I'll pick you up at 3 a.m. if there's an issue, or I'll have you picked up, but we want to take care of you like family. So that's why we do that. But at the same time, we're not about to YouTube that and say, hey, we picked up so-and-so. Like it's a real relationship, you know, that
Yeah,
you have.
absolutely. And I mean, I can remember, I have stories like from when I was in Milan, photographers being so shady. You know, it's just like, next thing you know, that's like you're going there because you think it's like a beauty campaign where they're shooting your face and they're asking you to like get naked. And that's kind of when you have to be really strong, and you've got to be really confident in this industry, and you've got to really be able to put your foot down and walk away from something, no matter what the agents are telling you or who is the photographer, because it's everything. And in every industry, there's always going to be power plays, right? And I think that the sooner that you figure that out, and the sooner that you figure out that, you know, you are really your own advocate, that's when you can really steer clear of that kind of stuff. But I mean, if I was having a daughter that was getting into this industry, I would be very, very careful who she was shooting with, where she was going, meeting people, because there's so many people that take advantage of young girls in the industry. It's a crying ass shame, quite honestly.
Yeah. I have two little ones, both girls, and they say, hey, this looks cool. Say, go to school.
Yeah.
Go go to school and focus on that. And then also master your jiu-jitsu that prior to COVID, they had to do 3 days a week because
I love that. I love that.
yeah,
Know how to defend and protect yourself. Yes.
Yes. So that's a shout out to, jiu-jitsu. And I think every young girl especially should know how, when you're on your back and a grown man is on top of you, how to get him off and choke him out, and don't wait for the tap out, just when it feels right. But that's my own daddy take on that. I was kind of and I went there because I saw an interview that you did, and you're talking about doing a shoot and you didn't know it was going to be a nude shoot, and I'm like,
yeah, for Elle.
What manager would not tell someone? And if the manager didn't know, that's one thing, but then the photographer, beforehand, because again, things have to be properly put together before you just show up to a shoot. There's
they take such advantage. And because I was doing so much body modeling, I think that because I'm not very tall, so I wasn't doing fashion. I was doing a lot of commercial print, lifestyle modeling, and body parts modeling. And I kind of became like the body girl at Ford. And in New York, I have articles in Allure magazine just based on my career as a body model. So I think they kind of took that for granted at points as far as what I would be comfortable doing and what I wasn't comfortable doing, and because of the level of photographers I was shooting with, it was super intimidating, like to be the person that shows up on set and kind of puts your foot down and goes, wait a minute, I didn't know that we were going in this direction. Like and I was young, and I didn't have the strength and confidence that I have now. So it's like, yeah, in that regard, it can be really, really dangerous, and you've got to really be strong. And, it all comes back to, I love what you're saying about being a father and teaching your girls how to defend themselves, because it really comes back to your upbringing and kind of how your parents have taught you. It's so important to teach young girls, that they don't have to say no to everything. They don't have to say yes to everything. We're so eager to want to please everybody all the time. And in that regard, I think living in New York City and being in this industry was the best medicine for me, because I definitely grew up in this kind of like little tiny beach town and everybody was nice to everybody. And then it was like, boom, I got transplanted into New York City, and it was like, whoa, I better grow some balls real quick or I'm going to get run over. And so, that's kind of how that all went.
Well, and can you talk about, were you prepared? Because from music, for you also being in movies, and folks, these are movies that you can see on Amazon, so you can go check those out, like My Normal. Do you think you were prepared? And when your parents in a position, were they in the industry at all to let you know? Because I'm like, coming from Turkey, I would think that they would be like, okay, whatever, it's movies. We love Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatnot. But were they able to prepare you at all?
I think the preparation was just like teaching me morals and ethics, and teaching me how important, kind of building upon that through my whole life. Like that was really the foundation that they gave me. My upbringing, I think, was really what helped me steer clear of any kind of really terrible, controversies in the industry. It's so important. It really is, for young girls. And I think my parents were always very careful and mindful to remind me that this was going to be a moment in time. This was not going to be a lifetime. And that was the smartest thing, especially my mom could have ever sort of, drilled into my head, was that, get your education, get your degree. So I did it simultaneously. I had a scholarship to only Florida State institutions. So I moved to New York City, and I was part of that guinea pig generation that started doing internet-based university. So I graduated like that. I would be like in Germany and Switzerland shooting for Reef Brazil, doing swimsuit catalogs, all this kind of stuff. And I would have to wake up in the middle of the night because of the time differences and take tests. And it was super stressful, but I had to do it in order to utilize my scholarship. So I did. And I'm so grateful that I have that degree to fall back on.
Now, what do you think about how modeling has changed and kind of opened up for everyone? You have Fashion Nova. I'm going to put you, even though you are an official model, and I know you've moved on, but still on Instagram, you look like a model, and you have the likes of a model and a very popular one, and folks can check that out. Links will be in the description. What do you think about how the game has changed? It's opened up, but we also have, again, in the industry Instagram game, folks that are in a different city every day, you've never heard of them. Some of these people, questionable backgrounds, questionable, if you hit them up, hey, pay me and I'll go wherever you want. And do you think that type of, and I'm talking about Instagram floozies, y'all, the game is the game. Yeah, the game is changed, but I want to just know, do you think that Instagram has been a great thing, or should there be some type of regulation or some type of class? Because we basically have prostitution on Instagram. No one's talking about it. Backpage has gone to Instagram for some people.
You have that in the legit modeling industry as well. So it happens everywhere. It's the oldest job in the world. It's going to happen everywhere. No matter what's created, it's going to live. It is going to live and it is going to prosper. Okay. So I think, trying to avoid the pitfalls of that is going to be a slippery slope. But I do believe that Instagram has opened a door for people, they can continue working even when agents are turning them away. And in kind of a way, it's like, good for them, good for the people that are I'm all about the hustle. So the people that are figuring out a way to make money and to basically stick it to the agents that aren't representing them well, I'm all right with that.
Okay. And that's your hustle spirit. And that's, that goes to your hip hop background. Yes, folks, I said hip hop. It's worldwide. Don't let the appearance fool you. She's done her, she studied this in the streets from New York to everywhere. I know that your hip hop background and in your music, especially your latest music, it's not just hip hop, but you have the Latin flair and the music.
Yeah.
So I want to know a few things. Okay. One, are you fluent in Spanish? And how many languages do you speak? And are we going to see music, that are you going to be just collabing with Afro beats, then going to K-pop and just putting all that music together?
Well, I actually do speak Spanish. I mean, I took 4 years of Spanish between university and high school. So I definitely, speak a lot of Spanish. I understand a lot. I live in LA. So let me tell you, everybody's speaking Spanish over here. Also in Florida, everybody was speaking Spanish growing up. So, and then my background is Turkish. So that was my first language. So I definitely probably know more Spanish now than I even know of Turkish, which is kind of funny. But my first song that I ever came out with was called Turkish Delight with a Turkish rapper called Ekin Ozlen. And he has an awesome voice, just a whole awesome vibe. And so that was really fun because I was kind of I love, linguistics and putting different languages into music and combining just different sounds and making something just really unique, not feeling kind of pigeonholed just because I'm a white girl, that I have to just sing straight pop music and, that's so boring. Like let anything come out that will. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Well, you're the first person from Turkey that I know who has considered themselves white. So is that just, you mean on the surface in America? Because I don't want to go through, Turkey and get hit in the head and say, why did you not check her? And she called herself white when we are Turkish. We are not, they'll let you know, and they won't say it in English because you know how Turkey is.
My dad's actually Turkish and my mom is not. So just
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go, folks. Don't jump on me with that, because when you're in Turkey, one of the most difficult things that I have found, even just going through the airport, is someone to speak English or French to you. It's not happening, if they don't want it to happen, and you have to go about it a certain way. Because my wife, she tried to, I'm just going to talk French here. And I'm like, I don't know if that's going to work. And yeah.
I love that she speaks French. That's amazing.
Yeah, she speaks. I mean, she's from Cameroon, so she speaks. My French is terrible. It's like my Spanish. I'm going to get by wherever I go. And that's if I go, wherever I go, I'm going to get by from Swahili to, to Malawi. We're going to get by. We'll do, yes, folks. We'll do Chichewa if in Malawi. Don't be shocked. But now, growing up, or being born in Turkey, do you go back to Turkey and making a song like Turkish Delight, which, if you guys don't know, that's one of, the great dessert and sweet that you can have.
The best. Yeah.
Well, why I didn't say it was the best is because Turkish ice cream to me is literally the best.
Dondurma. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, you can't Cold Stone, get out of here. And then the trick that they play with you when you're trying to grab it as a grown man, anything that kid, okay, hey, treat me like a kid. It's all good.
That's
But yeah, do you go back to Turkey and,
yeah,
yeah, tell us about, your relationship with Turkey.
Yeah, my sister's there. I mean, I was born there. So my dad's there. My entire dad's side of the family is there. So I used to go back every summer and spend the summers in Turkey with my dad because my mom and dad divorced. So my mom was in the States, which is how I ended up here. And then my dad was still there. And it was such a cool way to grow up because I was literally inundated with just mad cultural experiences that I wasn't having. Like I was in this little surf town called Cocoa Beach, Florida. And then I would go from there to Istanbul, for the summer. And it was like, whoa. And all I had was like flip-flops and like sundresses to wear. You know what I mean? How Florida is. And it's like, I didn't even have a jacket. I didn't actually own a jacket. And so it was just really, really, really different. And it really made me grow so much. It was a great experience for me.
Wow, that's awesome. So doing music, how do you then pick who you want to do music with and then putting that all together? Because as you know, if you go from America to out of the country, you get kind of that American privilege and stardom wherever you go. So am I going to make music for, America, or am I going to make it for Latin America? But Latin America and Turkey, even in movies, have a very strong connection. You go to any conference, they all know each other. The buyers, they're always buying novellas, So how do you make that connection and say, what market am I going to be in? Because I can be rich in Turkey, but live in America and just, shoot here and have it go out there.
I mean, I never really thought of it like that, to be honest with you. I kind of just went with like what I was vibing at the time. And a lot of it has to do obviously with the music producers that I'm working with. I mean, I can't take that away from them. They're really the ones that are kind of going, okay, this is where we see you. This is what do you think? Would you like to kind of go more in this direction or more in this direction? And they kind of, they give me beats and it's like, it kind of just blossoms from there, I would say. But I really love the Latin vibe. I always have. I love the dancing. I love the music, as Turkish as I am. And yes, I pull from that, but the Latin thing is just it's so sexy. It's so hot. And, I love it. And it happens to be really happening. So
yeah, it's happening in a major way. And, the video looked great. And are we going to see, more videos or more singles, album? What's the plan?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm just going to keep collaborating, and it's really great to be able to, showcase my product line within those music videos. And because I'm in major retail like Macy's and Dillard's, it works really well as far as marketing for them because they love that whole energy. And it's something that really kind of makes the brand more relatable because it's such a high science brand. Kind of taking it down to something that everybody can understand, which is music and sound. It makes the brand really more relatable, I think. So I will definitely continue doing that to answer your question. And we just got to get through this COVID pandemic situation. I mean, it was that video that you saw, the Where You At music video with Vadir Derbez and Roxy Ferrari. Mm-hmm. That was the last video that I shot. And we had to reschedule that like 3 times. It was so hard to get everybody to shoot and to get everybody, safe. And this was, I think, like in June or July in downtown LA. So it was really challenging to do during this time. So I'm kind of waiting it out right now and just seeing where the chips fall. But I'm excited to continue doing music. It's really feeds my soul. There's nothing that I love more than music. So yeah, for sure.
Okay. And we see the relationship between a lot of musicians and then having a product, and let's just say, call you what you are, an influencer, because you are, using your audience to just kind of go with whatever passion that you have. And it looks like it's working out for you. Is the goal for the beauty line to then be sold only at high-end places, online? Do you want to take the Amazon route? What's your goal for that?
I think I'm interested in Amazon luxury right now. I have to be really careful with the brand because we we really gained all our traction and credibility from the physicians, plastic surgeons and dermatologists specifically. So I want to do right by them. And I don't want to just, slam it out onto Amazon, as profitable as that may be. It can hurt the brand as well. So I think right now I'm definitely focusing on the direct to consumer model. I just shot an infomercial, which is going to be airing in about 1 week. So that'll be nationally, and I'm super excited about that. It's going to have lots of splices from my music. It'll be really, really a good time to kind of put it all together and just kind of really focus on going direct to the consumer, because major retail is, it can be dicey right now with the department stores.
Well, I think, shows like Shark Tank have shown us who watch for years that retail, it's like the mob, and you got to get permission, and they're going to take their cut off top, and yeah.
But it gives you so much brand awareness. So it's such a slippery slope, because you don't want to turn away, those huge retail giants. But, my advice to anyone getting into this is be very careful what you're signing.
Yeah. I mean, as a consultant, I tell people, do you want to be rich or do you want to be popular? And if you want to be rich,
good question.
If you want to be rich, let's stay away. Let them come to us, because if we come to them, we're definitely gonna, pay that price, and there's no coming back from making that first initial contact. And so most people, I find, would rather, well, it's hard. A lot of people want that to feel validated for all their hard work.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it matters much, and it matters just in getting the brand awareness and getting the name out there. It matters so much. I mean, Dillard's was so kind to us. They brought in our whole CBD line in all of their doors. They brought our Keracell Pro line into all their doctors on call sections. Macy's has been wonderful for us. So I'm extremely grateful to these major retailers. I really am, because they put us on the map. That it started with the physicians, and then it kind of went into major retail, and now I'm kind of bringing it back to the consumer again, because I really like that approach. I like dealing directly with the consumer. I love shooting infomercials. I love the television aspect of this and digital advertising. I'm really into all that. So because of my background, it kind of is helping steer me and guide me in the way to really blow Keracell up.
Now, when you talk about the CBD, let folks know, why did you choose to, get a CBD product? And then for the potheads that listen, because I interview, a number of people who use recreationally or medically, but, will there ever be a full, 1-to-1 THC CBD product out there?
We haven't gotten into that yet. I haven't gotten into ingestibles yet either. I think, for me, it's all about, my focus is skin, and healing the skin, restoring the skin's homeostasis. And that's what CBD is just. I mean, human stem cell extract combined with CBD is literally 2 superpowers going in and healing the skin. It's attacking the aging process as if it were a wound. So it's incredible, the CBD benefits, the anti-inflammation, helping with eczema, psoriasis, acneic issues. So I am obsessed, when I tell you, with CBD. I think it's amazing. And I'm so glad that now people are understanding, and especially major retail outlets like Dillard's, which you would expect to be so conservative, they were the first ones to bring CBD in like this. So bravo to them for really seeing the future.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome to know and hear, because, I mean, everybody now is like, hey, we can get you off opioids if you can use this. And if people are saying they sleep better. So to have a product that is doing that is a great thing. I want to tap into something though. What is your opinion on the wave of, we especially see it in all communities really, with the plastic surgery has taken, a new look. Everybody is getting something done. And now it's, at least in my world, it's everyone has to get their butt done. It's like, okay, can't have a big enough butt. Let me gain 10 pounds so I can put it in my butt somewhere else. And I mean, it's not just the Black community. I mean, it is everybody.
Yeah, everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really into combining skincare treatment protocols, with plastic surgery procedures, that is how I feel like you are going to have amazing skin and hair, you know, because people can do PRP injections in the scalp. Our products pair really well with anti-hair loss treatments. So I am a huge proponent of plastic surgery procedures and combining that with our skincare. Our skincare is basically going to lessen downtime, and it's going to allow you to go back to doing the things that you love to do instead of sitting at home and, you know, I can't go out because my face is all bruised and swollen and da-da-da, all the things. We have the products that are really going to lessen that downtime and are going to speed up the recovery process, essentially accelerate healing.
And I'm thinking of somebody when I mention this who they'll watch this. Is there ever a time, would you know, we know Michael Jackson, how many surgeries, and he put 2 on his hand. Is there any time to say, okay, that's enough, or you're 70 years old, that won't even be, you know, recommended by a doctor? Do you think there's any like limitations that people should put on themselves?
Like a drop dead date when you're like, okay, I've hit that age and no more. Like, should there be a law? Is that what you mean?
Something like that. Even if it's, you know, a fashion law, kind of like the, you know, no white after Labor Day type law.
That's so cute. And that's a really good analogy. I love how you think. But I think that that's an individual process for everyone. Mm-hmm. I think that our faces and our bodies change dramatically as we age. And I think using the right skincare, of course, I'm always going to bring it back to skincare, is going to really minimize those drastic changes in your skin and the texture of your skin and your hair. You know, people really, aging is really tough with the hair. You start losing a lot of hair. I mean, that's one of the number one things with men and women in the crown area, especially. So I think that, you know, it's skin and hair. I think you can always just continue making better. Like, don't ever stop. But yes, I do believe that at some point you're going to hit a plateau. And I think that a lot of doctors are going to say to you, listen, we can't do anything more. But I remember what my husband would say to me, because he would have some of those clients where I would be like, whoa, like she is going to do her boobs again, or like, oh my God, another rhinoplasty. But no, you know, it was like, and because I was like very conservative about it. And he would say, here's the thing, I've told her like 6 times, but the truth of the matter is they're going to just go to somebody else, and that somebody else is going to do it, and they're going to mess it up. So it's like, and then she's going to come back to my husband, and then he's going to have to fix it or try, you know, it's a slippery slope with the plastic surgery. You've got to be really careful. And this whole like Instagram and all these filters that everyone's able to use is really making people want to look like that. My best guy friend, Dr. Gawkin, he's here in LA, he's awesome. He's a plastic surgeon, Turkish guy. And he is basically saying the same thing to me, that these girls come in and they literally show him like pictures of themselves through these apps. And it changes their features and all the things. Their nose is slimmer, their cheekbones are more out, their temples, their forehead smaller, chin, you know, whatever. And he's like, they literally tell me I want to look like this. So that's kind of scary. I think that we need to back off that a little bit and go back to natural. And you see a lot of brands doing that. I'm not one of them because I like the look of things that are a little bit, you know, modified. That's just my personal style. But I think that there is a limit to it. And you do see some brands that are really coming out and they won't even use images that have been retouched and stuff, which I think is a little to the other extreme.
Well, in the words of Kendrick Lamar, let me see some stretch marks, something real.
There you go.
You know, that's let me feel the real, because you guys are beautifully made. How you come out, and most guys, we're just, you know, we just, I don't know. Most guys, I think, and people don't usually say this, it's deeper than just the look. The look might hook you, but to reel you in, and I know women don't do it just for males' attention, because people want to feel comfortable inside of, you know, themselves, but to reel someone in, it's really how beautiful you are inside and who you are. And that could go to a deep place, but it's more than that outside.
Yeah. I love what you're saying. It's the outside that just first gets you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure you have people around you who are only around you because of how you look, or, oh, she's going to pick up lunch. And, you know, we all have some leeches like that, and we have to shake them and say, get away.
Big time.
Yeah, so that's why I say that. Now, with all that the success that you've had and that you're gonna have, because the best is yet to come,
That's
what
right.
is a community give back that you are doing or that you plan to do in the future?
So I'm an avid equestrian and dog lover, and I've done a lot with Vanderpump Dogs. Are you familiar with Vanderpump Dogs? They
I
have
am not.
okay, so it's Lisa Vanderpump from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's
Mhm.
got Vanderpump Rules. She actually has a charity where they're bringing dogs from Asia. They're saving them from the Yulin Meat Festival and stuff like this. Disgusting. They're actually saving all those dogs. They're going over there, saving them and bringing them back and finding them homes here. So I am, and Keracell. I use Keracell, you know, to really basically team up with Vanderpump and help. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. I adore my dogs. They're literally like my stress reliever. They're everything to me. I have a little puppy right now that's 12 weeks, and she's just been such a godsend. Like during this super stressful time, I just hold her and it's like everything feels better. So I think, you know, I would just hope that other people feel the same way about their dogs too. I think they do.
Okay, now tell me, are you saving horses from France and other places that eat horse?
You know, I would love to get more involved in the horse thing. And I think that's why I brought it up. I haven't done anything yet, but I would like to. That would be the next thing that I would probably pursue, because I have two horses myself. You know, I live and breathe. I would give an organ for them. I love them so much. They're like my children. So I think that if there's anything that I could do next, it's definitely going to be in the equestrian community.
Okay. I had to ask because I'm a very adventurous eater, but there's just some things I've passed on.
I hope
And
horse
I'm like,
was one of them. Yeah.
yeah, horses and dog. I'm like, no, it's all right. But they're like, hey, but you like alligator, you like ostrich, and things like that. And it's
Where
like,
do you draw the line? I know people say that, right? Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not really a
Like if
big
you
meat
can
eater.
ride it or snuggle with it, I think that there's a clear there's a clear line in the sand. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We're just putting that out there for folks. Some folks are gonna be like, "Wait, who eats horse?" And some folks won't even know if people eat dog. I mean, in America, unless you hear a bad joke, people will actually think that's a joke. And that some places, yes,
Yes,
dog
we
is.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, that's you guys are getting the game. Now I'm gonna have all your links in the description box, and I'd like people to go check out your products and purchase them, and as well
Thank,
as follow you.
thank you so much.
Yeah, and support. Is there anything you want to leave us with?
I'm just grateful. Thank you so much for spending the time that you have with me and for letting me tell my story. I'm very grateful to you. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. You guys have been blessed with the game. Make sure you share this with someone so they can feel inspired to see how entrepreneurs started, sustained, and succeeding in business.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
In progress, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
We're in progress over here. Yeah.
yes.